Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Meadsy69 and welcome back to another video of tanks in store. But today we're going to look at the AT-15A in particular. Now, this tank, I like this tank. It's come as a deal for 5,000 gold, or you can get it with the ISU 122S for 7,500 gold. Now, I would recommend that deal, the 7,500, because both tanks together is actually a really good price. On its own, 5,000 gold, yes, you do get it fully equipped, an avatar, and fully kitted out equipment-wise, but 5,000 gold, I mean, you can get this tank at any time in the tech tree for 5,100 gold. So, for me, it's not really a good deal. It's not really a great deal. Why would I want full equipment when I have 100 million credits? I can buy the equipment as myself. So we're going to look at the stats. The hit points 1275. Armor's pretty good, over 200 mil. I mean, this armor is pretty good on this tank. It's better than its counterparts in the tech tree, I think. DPM 2525. Reload 3.8 seconds. Penetration 180 on your AP, which isn't the best, but it does have 251 on the APCR. So you will have to use the APCR quite a bit. Damage, you do 160 on your AP, 135 on your APCR, 200 on your HE. Aim time 3.6, and the dispersion is pretty good at 0.290, and it does have a nice 10 degrees of gun depression as well. The gun arc to the left and the right are both 25 degrees, which is really, really good for this tank. Now, it's 20 kilometers an hour, which isn't the slowest. I mean, it's not too bad. So, I like this more than all the other, like the AT-15, the AT-7, the AT-8, etc. I prefer this than all of them put together. It's more bouncy. It's more bouncy. The hatch on top is a lot more bouncy than the others as well. And the rate of fire is really good. And plus it is a premium tank. You're going to have to shoot quite a lot of APCR. I mean, look at this. That's the T29. We can shoot the bottom plate. And because of the accuracy, you can penetrate it quite easy. But you don't want to spend too much time on these tanks. So this kind of tank, I'm going to switch to the APCR, and you can just see my gun. I'm actually looking pretty much to the right at the time, and I'm shooting him, which is, you want to do that because you actually have nice side armor as well. And when you're angling both, your front and your side, that is when it becomes really, really strong. You need to try and hide that hatch. The hatch is pennable, and if you can get behind buildings like this and get your gun arc around, didn't quite work there with the SU-152, but you can get bounced. I mean, we bounced 1200 damage this game. We bounced 1200 damage. You can, for me, I find that I can bounce a lot more reliably in this tank than, say, the Tier 8 version, which is the AT-15. I can bounce a lot more reliably. And of course it does have that gun, that 10 degrees of gun depression. So if you can get up on ridge lines and get that gun down, that hatch is very difficult to penetrate. So we are going to bounce a few more. We're going to have a battle, I think it's next, where we do bounce quite a lot. And you can see the accuracy on this tank is, we had that nice shot on the BIS there. And we're just going to back up. I mean, he's not going to be able to pen us. He doesn't seem a great player, but what I really, really love about these kind of tanks is what I'm going to be doing to the Tiger P as soon as we take care of this P43. So he's only on 16, and then he decides, let's go out. And you can see we was hiding that hatch there from the Tiger P, and we managed to get that bounce. So if you can get a building to your right side, then use that building and hide that hatch, because you can get your gun around. It's 25 degrees gun arc to the left and to the right. You don't want to be sort of getting up behind a building to your left, so you come out to the left, and then the right side of your tank will be exposed, and that is where you have that big hatch. Now the hatch is, I think the hatch is actually stronger than all the others. Maybe not the Tier 5 version, because the Tier 5 version is actually really, really good, and especially in those lower tiers, people don't know how to deal with them. But this is what I love about these tanks is 3.6 second reload, and we are running calibrated shells because 3.8 seconds, sorry. We are running calibrated shells because the reload is so small. I'd rather give it more pen, and we are just gonna keep tracking this guy. Now he's used both of his repair kits, and we pretty much just kept him in place. When you can do that to a tier 8 heavy, then it really does pay off. Now that battle we only finished on a first class, 2.5k damage. We don't make a lot of credits. I mean, 45,000 credits. We did have to shoot a lot of APCR, especially against the T-29. And because it's a premium, you don't really mind spending using the Pramo on this because you're still going to earn some credits. I mean, that game we earned 800 assistant damage as well. Now, this game, you're going to see we are going to hide this hatch. We are going to get shot first, and then we are going to hide the hatch, and we are going to get quite a bit of damage. So there you can see 590 block damage, and that was from the SU-152, which is understandably if he is shooting AP or heat, because it hasn't got the greatest pens. So we're going to get a couple of shots, and now we are getting chased, and we don't want to be circled by this kind of guy. And you're going to see, look, we're going to bounce from the side. That's from the side, and you can do that in this tank quite easily. It's very, very troll. But just like any slow, turretless TD, you have to have protection. You have to have cover from all angles, whether that be buildings or whether that be your teammates. Just try and get cover. Now we are going to actually get shot from that WZ, which was a good shot from him. And we're going to get some very troll bounces from the Panther 4S, but we're also going to bounce him in return. He's just hiding his hole, and that thing has got a very bouncy turret, and we're going to bounce like 3 times. But so far, we've now bounced 1,445 damage, and just look at that accuracy. We didn't even need to aim, and we're going to do it again any moment now. I mean, just the accuracy is so good in this tank. And now we're going to come out and we're going to use that gun arc, and we're going to get a shot. Unfortunately for him, he does get stuck. And again, just look, we're just bouncing everything. We're going to come back, we're going to hide our hatch, and we're going to get another bounce shot. So nice ammo rack there, unfortunately, for the Panther 4S. We do win this game at 2,200 block damage, and we're going to move on to the last game now, and this is what I mean by using that gun depression. Get in these kind of positions, and then your armor becomes so good, it's literally unpennable. It's really is unpennable, and especially when you're top tier. When you're top tier, this tank is an absolute beast. When you're bottom tier, it is still not bad. I prefer this driving the AT-15, and that is a tier 8 tank. So I really don't mind coming up against those tier 8 tanks, because the heavies have not got the greatest depend, and when you are in a sort of when you're hiding that hatch, you can still comfortably bounce shots from tier 8 heavies, no problem whatsoever. If you can get tanks like this, obviously back up, don't be stupid, and as I always see, tanks like this go into the middle of the map and just turn like this. Just back up to a building and don't let them get around you, because these are quick tanks, you're a slow tanks, and we stopped that guy from circling, and now we're in a bit of trouble because there's quite a few fast tanks around, but we're just going to back up. We are in a small sort of alleyway, and it's going to be very difficult for them to be able to circle me. So always try and face your gun at these medium tanks. Don't let them get around you, and if they do get around you, turn around as soon as possible, back up to a building. Don't let them circle you, because you will get wrecked. Even though the side armor and the rear armor against tier 6 mediums, you can even bounce the rear with this thing. And it's just, I have fun in this tank. I've always liked this tank. It just needs a bit of patience because it is a slow tank. I used to hate these tanks when I first started because they were so slow. But then I realised, you know, it's not all about speed, and it's not that slow. I mean, it's not a TOG slow. It's not a T95 slow. I mean, 20 miles an hour, 20 kilometers an hour isn't so slow for a tank like this. And you can see this battle here, we on 2 kills. We've only been shot, what, once, twice? And that is with quite a few, 3 light tanks and 2 mediums, and we only got shot twice. So we do manage to poke forward, and we do get the kill on the VK. So that game we ended up on 605 blocked damage, 3,100, I think a little bit more with a RAM maybe, but it was only a first class. So 89,000 credits. It was a little bit better that time, but we didn't have to shoot any pramo. So that is the AT-15A. Nice tank. You have to be patient with the tank, but I wouldn't buy it on its own because 5,000 gold. I mean, if you've got credits, you might as well go and buy it from the tech tree. But that's it. Hope you enjoyed it, guys. I'm Meadsy69. Thank you. Tomorrow we have a and I'll see you then. Bye bye.